DD214 Gaming Podcast is for mature audiences only. Any videos, music, or entertainment not originating from DD214 Gaming is used and covered under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, also known as fair use. Opinions expressed are our own and do not represent any DoD or U.S. government entities as a whole. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. You are no longer alone now, because we have you.
Gaming nightclub. You're here.
What's going on, everybody?
What's happening?
What's going on, guys?
Day late, dollar short, and probably missing 187,000 brain cells, but we're here.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're still broke.
Well, I mean, what are you gonna? I mean,
we are still broke, guys.
It's a
the only reason why I'm broke, John, is because I'm an alcoholic, as you can see by the many liquor bottles behind me.
it's like all of us are just like one bad decision away from living under a bridge. I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Whoa! Now I've lived under a bridge, and it wasn't due to bad decisions.
You know who lived under a bridge?
I mean, you know,
Kurt Cobain.
That's an insult to everybody that lives under a bridge out there.
In my ass. I missed that button, man.
Yeah,
I really missed that button. Oh man, yes, we're feeling good. We're feeling all right.
What are you guys doing?
And everybody gets a whole different fucking side of us this time, because now it's a lot later in the day than normal, and we're not fucking waking up while we're trying to do this.
Our days are over, or are they just starting?
Well, I mean, I don't know about you guys. I always have stuff during the week, you know, like starting in the morning. So it's like, regardless of how my evenings go, I have to be up by a certain time, like, you know, Monday through Friday, regardless. Like there's no no question or choice in the matter.
See, I will agree with this, Jay, because unfortunately, after my time in the military, where I was able to be a giant ass grown man child,
right?
I have to do this thing now called adulting, where I have to pay bills and shit that I don't get.
Who would have thought? Right?
That the military doesn't help me pay anymore. So, you know, back when I was in, I had a housing allowance, you know, shit like that. So I didn't really have as much to pay.
This is where we absolutely live up to the stereotype of the functional millennial generation, you know, veteran podcast, right? Like that's exactly we're really good at living up to. If there's one stereotype we live up to, is like all of us kind of like functionally like we live within our means. You know what I mean? I
did a stereotypical thing this week.
You want to? Here we go. Johnny, you gonna tell us about it?
No, he's just gonna leave.
He's from fucking Jersey.
He's gonna fucking dip out like always.
John's from Jersey, dude. Like that. Like I can only imagine.
So.
Dude. Can't
So
fucking wait
while
to hear
we're
this.
while we're waiting on stereotypical thing this week,
Yeah.
Captain. Oh God, this motherfucker has a fanny pack.
A tactical fanny pack.
What's that going to do for you, John? What's in your tactical? What's in your tactical?
Hey,
fanny?
what's up, Ronnie J?
Ronnie J.
I see
Hey.
you guys coming in here. You don't hide from me.
Hey, yo, real talk. Ronnie J.
Tell me this thing isn't fire.
Hey, Ronnie J. just reenlisted indefinite. So like,
Did he really?
congratulations. Absolutely fucking
Yo,
mega,
shout out Ronnie.
mega
my
congratulations to freaking Ronnie J.
Hell
He's
yeah.
going in depth, ladies and gentlemen. He's going in depth, dude. In depth.
So the reason why I bought this because I've always had like this. I love the tactical civilian pants that they have. You know, you buy it at the PX, and so me and my wife are going to be making the PX trip soon to buy some of those pants again because you know you're getting older. You want to address accordingly to the things that you do, i.e., podcasting, radio, and stuff like that. So I want to kind of get back into some of my military roots and kind of dress like that again, or as close to I can, not to a uniform, but
You want to look like you're in a militia? Is that what you're saying?
yeah.
Wait.
I
So
wanna
when we're
look like a
podcasting,
boogaloo
I'm
boy.
not supposed to be naked from the waist down because apparently I've got this. I'm kidding.
I was gonna say, man, like I
me.
can't. I'm not allowed to wear like gray sweatpants, dude. Like, cause like if I
Yeah.
accidentally like, you know what I mean, like,
Yeah,
like
them gray sweatpants get us every fucking time, Jay.
I'm telling you, dude. Like that's how you get fucking like lifetime bans, dude. John, tell me about your Jackie Chan fanny pack here. Like, what are we doing? I'm just asking.
It's got molly webbing on it.
Okay.
Okay. For your knives and your stuff. You got one pocket here in the front, another pocket here in the front, and then you got a secret one back here, right behind the molly webbing. So, all right, you got storage. I almost kind of feel like this should be part of the uniform. I mean, it's got.
Well, I mean, we in some regards, like we do have
there
those.
is
Like
one.
That's like your IOTV or your freaking your plate carrier kind of functions as it comes with a lot of that shit when you start hanging stuff off your molly. So
But I gotta give it to TJ Maxx.
Okay.
The TJ Maxx is with Highland Tactical. This was like $12. They got some good gear. But Ronnie J says, check out the Wrangler ATG clothing line at Target. Yo, the ATG clothing line is legitimately probably one of the most comfortable things I've ever worn in my life. I haven't had their. I think they just got jackets too, but they are fucking. You're right, Ronnie J. You're right.
I'm gonna give you some advice. Ronnie J is like a nerd about tactical gear and like
Boogaloo clothing
and weapons and gear and all of it, dude. Like the way you guys are about Star Wars. So if he says some shit is like probably comfortable,
I'm
go
really.
try it out.
I love military. I really appreciate military gear because you can really use it for civilian use, especially the bags. Like you get a nice little mini rucksack.
There's a lot of the gear that we use in the military.
Yeah,
it's good gear, but then there are other people that kind of follow along behind it, and they issue kind of like a civilian version of it. But oftentimes, you'll find that it can be improved. And when the civilian company makes a military style piece of gear or an item of clothing, and it functions kind of better than the issued shit, right?
Yeah.
It like yes, that's kind of where shit isn't always cheap, but you know what? Like there's a reason like 511s are a fucking really good boot to fucking wear. You know what I mean? Like
11 is another, and you know what was interesting too? Like when I was
queer. That's the first one.
Yeah, gear queer. That's funny. I like that one. I gotta say, like the boots. The boots have gotten really like a lot of companies have gotten really creative with the tactical boots lately. You know, when I was in from the 12 to 16, everyone was talking about Rockies. But at that time, there was also the Nike ones, but the Nike ones weren't authorized at that time. I don't know if that's changed since then.
A lot of senioros love like, just like shitting in people's cereal, dude. Like fucking in those days, dude. Like people just fucking looking for it and at it. Like, But yeah,
it's super interesting, man. But like again, I do love a lot of that gear, man. So that I'll be kind of going towards that direction with that stuff.
hell yeah.
You know, I guess what do they call it? But yeah, that was my stereotypical veteran thing. That's
okay. That's
you know,
okay.
veterans always do one stereotypical veteran thing a week. You know, like
at least you mean like one?
One.
Or
Dear
one?
sweet baby Jesus.
Like what?
Yes, Ronnie J. Those Oakley assault boots are fucking amazing. Sorry.
Yes, like that's freaking. Yeah,
I still have a pair.
I'm telling you,
literally, I buy a new pair every year.
He will give you a fucking CIF fucking like layout list of like what you should get fucking top to bottom, and like that would be like I guarantee you like all of it would be fucking like on the money. You know what I mean? Like you know what was all the rage?
Is it this one?
When we would go out to the field?
No.
It was the little tactical fucking coffee makers. You know what I mean? The jet boils. Those were like all the rage when we would like go out to the field. You
Yeah,
know
that must be them.
Yeah, that's them.
Yeah, that is them.
That.
Sorry, you got to remember, I was last in right before ACUs got phased out, so they were a lighter fucking tan color.
They got really good with they like the boots that they started coming out with. I'm gonna say like probably right around the time of my last deployment. Like our last deployment was around like 2017, 2018. They started coming out with like actually like the issued gear was pretty fucking tits. You know what I mean? Where it was like, you know what?
Yeah.
This ain't that fucking bad. Like I'm kind of gonna be sorry to have to like turn this in someday. You know what I mean? Like that's like this is like an actually like legit piece. It's like a legit piece of gear.
That's how I felt with my my winter sweater. The one that everyone fucking gets sick about when they have to turn it in. Where it's got like it's got the
It's a spicy meatball.
Yeah. Man, you guys, how was your guys' week? Watch anything good? Who wants to start off? Oh, actually, I mean, the orchestra thing with the lady.
Oh, the fucking dude!
Dear fucking God,
dude, that shit was freaking. Okay, first off, like, can you pull up the goddamn?
I haven't been able to find the
I've got it
at all.
Okay. I will send it. You don't need. I don't think it's a sound. I mean, I was just gonna say you're gonna pull up the headline, maybe
the article.
Yeah, like if you want to just pull up the article, maybe.
Oh yeah, this is from the New York Post.
This is just fucking ridiculous, dude. Woman has a loud and full body orgasm during an orchestra concert. This was at the LA Philharmonic fucking.
I just want to say,
God damn, dude. Like, okay,
first I would pay top dollar to be at the same orchestra as this woman, just for bragging rights that I was at the orchestra that made this lady orgasm.
Dude, like, it's like, god damn, dude. God damn it, dude.
And then this lady's date or husband or boyfriend is the real MVP.
Well, I heard
the real MVP of this shit.
Didn't it say like he just was like smiling and shit?
He's just smiling and like, oh yeah, that's my woman, kind of shit. Like, not even acting fucking embarrassed.
God damn it! Like, how much you want to bet they had? Like, they were fucking one of them goddamn toys that you can like control the freaking like the intensity on.
It was one of those Bluetooth fucking.
Yeah, and he's like going with the music, probably. You know what I mean? It was quite beautiful. Like, whose fucking quote was that?
That was the chick that was sitting right near them.
God. What fucking timeline do we live in? Like, oh my fucking god, dude, that is fucking hilarious, dude. God damn it. Like, it's it's really hard. It's really hard to stay in character when like John always like springs some fucking bullshit on me, dude. I can't stay in fucking character with John. Like,
it's just the things that people are saying, like the reactions.
Yeah, but you come up and you did you brought it up at the last minute, and we all thought it was funny, and that's right, and it's correct. But it's like, I can't keep a fucking straight face while we're talking about
Like,
it.
but see, here's one thing I do want to say about this. Back in the day,
God damn it.
that would have been an indecent exposure charge. Whether there was anything
know how
actually seen or not, or masturbation in public or fucking some shit like that.
I was actually wondering if they ran out because it says like they don't know who they don't
No,
know who
they stood. No,
They stayed through the whole show. Ralph Phineas, his brother, was in attendance. Ralph Phineas is a well-renowned actor. Voldemort from Harry Potter.
Oh, Ralph Fiennes? Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah, Fiennes.
Yeah, that is how you pronounce it.
Yeah, he's the Red Dragon.
Yeah. So his brother was in attendance, and he even said, and I guess he must have been there too. He said they stayed the rest of the fucking show.
Just sitting in their own mess, huh? Like is that what we do now? We just go we go to the fucking orchestra to fucking
demeanor exposed. Demeanor noticed.
I have to say it's like if we're talking about like what is considered like regional etiquette, maybe it does say something that like
regional etiquette.
Yeah, it does say something that a woman had like a loud and full body orgasm like during a fucking orchestral, performance, and like they let her just fucking stay put. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it? Am I wearing like crazy pants here? Like,
No, that's what happened.
No,
I'm just wondering.
That's exactly what fucking happened. She literally had a full blown fucking orgasm, like creamed herself and everything, super loud, to where it was. I would have to say, if there's an article about it, it was louder than the fucking instruments.
It's everywhere.
Dude, listen. I'm not saying I'm not okay with it. All right, like that's not where I was going.
Would you be a guy if you weren't okay with it?
No, I don't know.
We would totally have to take your man card if you weren't okay with this.
Like that's totally not where I was going with this. I'm just like it's very audacious. Put it that way. It's very audacious. So like that's I guess like props ish. We'll give you like we'll give you minor props on here. That's like minor props. So like, good job, lady. Good job, lady. Like,
well done for.
Got the whole world talking about you blowing an O-ring, dude. Like that's freaking like.
Yeah, exactly.
Good for you, lady. Good for you.
Oh,
like
fuck.
Like you hit the big O finally.
Yeah, I mean, man, that one must have been a long time coming. Okay, literally.
No pun intended.
Oh man, so I mean, it's been a pretty interesting week, guys. I mean, I think I
wonder if she's ever fully recovered from that, though.
It's been a couple weeks.
Like, I wonder if there's still surges coursing through her body from that O-ring blowing.
I'm still very curious about the entire, like, they sat through the entire rest of the performance.
I really hope they steam clean those seats afterwards.
Look, man, I'm not.
Those are auction items now. Those.
Hey, listen, we're not okay. All right.
I'm just okay. Yeah.
Not doing this. We're not doing this right now.
Do you want to buy the chair from the orchestra where the lady orgasmed for the low price for 12 low monthly payments of $349.99? They can be yours.
This is generally how cheap fucking porn starts. You know what I mean? Like this is my whole problem with it. Okay, like anywho. So
yeah, this week, I mean, mine was pretty short. I just chilled, as always. Played some Red Dead. We had a storm on yesterday, which was major reason why we didn't come on. We were supposed to come on in the evening yesterday, and we had some major power issues over here. But we're here now.
Okay,
during the last couple days, got my wife and I. We went back. Well, with the hype of the new trailer and the announcement that the Battle of Songbirds and Snakes is coming out, the Hunger Games prequel, we went back and we watched the 4 movies. And I can't remember the first time or the last time we watched it, but watching it at this age, at this just appreciating
in a different
more. Yeah,
different time in your life, basically.
yeah, and actually like getting emotionally attached
Invested.
to the story and getting emotionally invested and just like, wow, like there's a lot of shit going on here. Obviously I'm a sucker for rebellion type of stuff, so this definitely fit the bill.
Viva la resistance.
That's right. There's been a lot of resistance talk. I think one of the coolest things about this is that we're dealing with a timeline of America that we don't even know what happened. But again, the birth of a lot of video games came from this book/movie. PUBG,
Sure.
Fortnite, which I keep forgetting which came first. I think was it PUBG?
PUBG.
Yeah, PUBG being the first, and Hunger Games leading a whole genre of video games into
Sure.
what it is now.
Yeah, kind of like the scavenger hunter games, basically.
Battle royales,
Battle
just
royales,
player
yeah.
versus player, just everybody just goes ham on each other.
Yep.
And that is actually, like, if you talk to the devs that release PUBG, and we're only going to use PUBG as the example here because that's why PUBG became a game. The devs behind it had even came out and said that they were inspired by like the battle royale style of the Hunger Games, where it was just player versus environment. That they decided to make a video game where you have 100 people drop in on a map and last person wins. Now, obviously, Fortnite and Warzone and anything like that has come since is just, riding the coattails of PUBG's success because PUBG did really good in the beginning. However, PUBG's complete fucking trash now.
Yeah. You remember when I actually Jay played a little bit of PUBG
back
in the day,
and it wasn't. Yeah, and I mean, I remember it being like,
I purchased it.
It was like fun. It was fun enough.
I did too. Like, yeah,
I mean, it was worth the $20 it cost to buy.
I was happy to play it on Game Pass. You know what I mean? Like that's about which and I want to be very, very clear here. Like anytime on this podcast, like, and sometimes we talk about kayfabe and stuff like that. Like when we go into a character, anytime you hear me talk any measure of shit about anything, like take it with a big grain of salt. Okay, there's nothing wrong with liking PUBG or Fortnite. It's not entirely my thing, but I did have fun, in fact, playing both of those games, especially with my kids. A little bit a couple years ago when we still lived in Colorado, and yeah, it was for what it was. It was okay. I can't say that it sucked me or that it kept me engrossed enough to really play it after we came out to Missouri. But I remember having some fun with it,
Yeah, but at least you can say that you enjoy the concept of it too, because that overall the concept of it is fantastic.
And I like the team building. If you want to fly solo, you can, but it's so much easier when you have like 3 or 4. You know what I mean? It's so much easier.
Like our last episode's guest, Brandon Cleary, John, and then one of our regulars, Max, Mraz. The 4 of us have played together on Fortnite.
And you just clean house, right? Let me guess, you just clean house.
We literally own these little fucking kids that are running around playing because we actually use team building and tactics when we play.
Right.
We're not just running gunning. Well, some people don't just run and gun. Usually John's our fucking pin cushion.
I call that a scout. You're like the scout, basically. So
I'm the proud pin cushion because I'm usually like,
no, there's no scout. It's like, John, I need you to go west 250, and he goes north 300. He goes in the opposite direction of where we need him to go. And then all of a sudden we just hear, I'm down. There's 3 guys around me. They're teabagging me. And then finally he shifts to go fucking save his ass because he decided to go completely the fuck off script.
Right.
And then we win the game and I win with 1 kill on my notch.
Right.
Tim Samuel says, I crushed my kids in Mario Kart.
Fuck yeah.
Mario Kart's been a conversation lately.
I eat souls and devour little children in Mario Kart.
In your house?
Who, me?
Yeah. Do you have a Nintendo Switch in your house?
No, we got a Wii.
Wrong system.
It's
We'll talk
Nintendo,
about
right?
it later. No, but yeah, we went back and watched the Hunger
Same
Games.
company, wrong system.
Yeah, fantastic set of movies. Haven't read the books, but I'm actually really intrigued to read the books. So
Cool.
you may hear a review soon, a book
That'd be
review
cool.
from me soon. Because I'd especially look. I don't think I can wait till November till this fucking movie comes out. So I think I'm gonna fucking bite the bullet. Me and my wife are talking about it. Might actually read the book and actually find out the story. But I'm good. I have to say it. Production wise, characters, stories, whole thing. Hunger Games as a whole gets a 8.5 out of 10.
Okay. Okay.
You know,
Right.
obviously we know that there are some things that could have been better, like the characters Peta and Gale and that weird little love triangle that happened throughout the whole all four movies, and you know them killing kids. That was actually another major thing that I don't think I watched the movie too much, was because during that time it was one of the first movies that was
Just showing like little kids getting murked and shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hell
I
yeah.
mean, they weren't very main. It wasn't very mainstream at the time. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
absolutely. But there is a renaissance for it. Right now, there is a renaissance for it, I will say.
Okay.
So just gonna say, John, because I have read the books and I've watched the movies. Like anything that's come out after the Lord of the Rings trilogy that has been turned into a movie, that's gone from book to movie, there are some key points that are missing.
Yeah.
However, that weird love triangle happens in the fucking books.
I'd imagine that was like a main plot thing too. You know what I mean?
It
Like
was
does make
actually
sense.
part of the fucking story in the books.
Yeah,
Now-
it makes sense.
Now, again, I will still say to this day, the only book to movie adaptation that has actually hit the fucking nail on the head is the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Is
Peter
it really?
Jackson with that. In my opinion, it's the only one so far that actually the director,
They tried
the
to stay
studio
close. They tried to
took
stay
the
close.
time to keep as much of the important shit in the movies
Yeah.
as possible. And if it
I-
didn't make the theatrical cut, the 4.5 hour extended cut versions have those fucking key points in them.
Yeah, and now there's one other movie. Now there's only one movie that has been that has absolute perfection, 9 out of 10, except for the absolute ending, and that was from comic to movie, The Watchmen.
Okay. Okay.
Like,
I love the Watchmen. And
The
then
comic book Watchmen
The-
and the movie is literally slide for slide, except the
Mhm.
except for
very
a
ending.
little portion of the ending
Yeah.
basically. But yeah,
Um,
my one of my favorites, like book to movie, and it's actually pretty close, and like it looks unbelievable, but it kind of actually like it happened, but it was
It's the
you
tower, the Dark
oh
Tower.
no, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, dude.
I didn't even know that was a book.
Oh my
I would-
god, dude, that's really like that. Yeah, that's how it. It's kind of how that whole thing kind of came about.
Is that true
Hunter S.
story
Thompson.
too?
so
Is it a true story too?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He went down to like Las Vegas to cover a dirt track like rally race, and got a bunch of booze and drugs and went down there with his lawyer friend, and they like just
So-
partied for like a while.
Yeah. What do you
So
think,
It became the stuff of legend.
So, John, I would have to say in my books, in my movie / book realm, Watchmen and V for Vendetta, both
Vendetta's
9
really
out of
good.
10s,
The-
because
Vendetta's
both
really good.
took the graphic novels and hit
Absolutely.
almost.
Actually,
There were those minute details that knocked it down a point. For
now,
both.
and V for Vendetta, I was not mad about. They literally changed the name of the antagonist, which his name in the comic book is Adam Susan. They called him Adam Sutler, and in the comic book, it takes place in 1985, and the comic book is like 2002. So
Right.
I'm not mad at it. They did a good
Yeah,
job.
not at all.
For Netta.
So I mean, those are the only two so far. The only one above those two for me is 100% Lord of the Rings, the whole trilogy, both theatrical and extended, and those hit 9.5s.
I will anytime give Lord of the Rings like pretty much as close to a perfect score as possible.
Yeah,
it's about as like
they were.
Peter Jackson knew what the fuck he was doing when he did that.
They tried. That was like one of the first try hard movies that actually paid off. Where it was like, holy shit, that's exactly what it was supposed to be. You know
and
what I mean?
I'm sorry, Ian McClellan as fucking Gandalf,
It's perfect,
hands down, fucking perfect.
Don't disrespect the man. Put Sir in his name when you say it.
You give him that title and rank. All right, Sergeant.
All right, Sir Ian McClellan.
Goddamn man.
Yeah.
That man earned his title and rank in the Queen's Army. God damn it! All right, like
I mean, the way him and Sir Patrick Stewart interact on screen together, and they're like best friends in real life. Like they have a good fucking friendship and relationship offset. And at this point, out of all the actors that are still alive from like the 70s and 60s, they're the two tops in my book.
Well, they've definitely been around the block, and
they've been around the block.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that's like that is a product of us also, like, you know, the passage of time and us starting to like grow old ourselves, right? So like
absolutely,
our childhood heroes are growing old as well, right? So yeah. Anywho,
so who's next? That was my week.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess, you know, my week, I watched the Hunger Games trilogy also after
really? That's funny.
Well, I started it a couple weeks ago and just kind of watched it here and there from on my iPad while I was working when I had breaks between like meetings and shit. I would pull it up, watch it, pause it, do what I had to do, watch some more. So it took a little bit longer for me to watch it than just sitting down and watching it.
Sure.
And then I started watching The Citadel on Amazon, which is about a spy organization that isn't government controlled. So the whole premise of this is the Citadel was created to keep in check the spy organizations that were government controlled. So, you know, you've got MI6, you've got the CIA, NSA, stuff like that. And then the Citadel was formed by multiple nations together. And instead of having government oversight, they just kind of 100% black ops, like worked under the radar. Nobody really knew. Starting of the show was good. So far, I mean, the 2 episodes have been pretty good. Lots of action, lots of fighting, lots of blood, and that kind of drags me in since I don't get to see that anymore a lot.
Right, right. Look pretty pleased with sugar on top. Can I like have lots of violence?
So I mean, I'm looking forward to the next episode. There's 2 episodes out so far, unless another one's dropped since I watched it last. Okay. Which, I mean, I watched it on Saturday, so I don't think between Saturday and today another one's dropped yet.
Okay. Man, Stanley Tucci's in it too. That's right.
But Stanley Tucci, speaking of which, Hunger Games.
Yep.
Yep.
And he's in the new Hunger Games movie that's coming out also.
No, he's not. That's actually Alex Schwartzman.
Oh.
Yeah, I was completely thrown off too. Because they said Flickerman. Yeah, no, that's Jason Schwartzman, who I actually think is fantastic for the role too, because I haven't seen his ass in a long time.
But
there's an all-star cast in this show.
Yeah, I mean, what really drugged me in was Stanley Tucci being in it because I love Tucci's work. Great. A lot of the stuff he's done lately has been really good. So, you know, started watching this. I've I'm right there at completing my Breath of the Wild playthrough, which this is my 4th time finishing the game now since it's come out 7 years ago. So I've played it 4 times in 7 years, Jay.
Okay.
So if that says anything, it has replayability.
Sure. Absolutely.
Because what I've done is each time I've played through it, I've tackled the game in a different mindset than I did the last. And I put enough of a break in between to where it didn't seem repetitive. And I still, by far, out of the last 2 generations worth of Zelda games, this by far is my favorite. Out of the last 2 generations. So that's what Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess between Wii and Wii U. So last 3. Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, and now Breath of the Wild. We're about to, on the 12th of this month, so not even 2 weeks, not even 2 full weeks, we have the next Zelda game coming out, Tears of the Kingdom. So that's kind of what drug me to replay Breath of the Wild, because the way Nintendo's been marketing Tears of the Kingdom is it's a direct sequel to Breath of the Wild. Versus like a lot of Zelda games, they release a Zelda game, years pass, they release another one which tells a different story but isn't really tied into any of the other games that have happened. The last time they really did this, the last time Nintendo did this, where they released a Zelda game and then several years later released another, which was a sequel technically to the last one, was back on the Nintendo 64 in the late 90s with Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask.
Right, yeah.
Because Majora's Mask starts off with the final sequence of Ocarina of Time, where you've defeated Ganon, you're riding off into the fucking woods, and then this one starts with you're riding through the woods on your horse, and then you get knocked off your horse and turned into a fucking Deku, which is a plant creature.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen with Tears of the Kingdom, it looks really interesting because they're adding some new mechanics to a Zelda game that have never been seen before. So like we're getting some crafting mechanics. No, the glider was in Breath of the Wild.
Oh, was it?
So we're getting some crafting mechanics this go round, where like if you pick up a tree branch, so early on in the game, you start with no gear. So you just have to pick up whatever you can fucking grab as a weapon, whether it's a tree branch, a torch, a fucking rock to beat a fucking enemy over the head with. You know, it gets a little gruesome if you really think about it. But in this one, you can now take a tree branch, attach a rock to the tree branch, and now you have a hammer.
Oh, hell yeah. Caveman style, baby.
What I'm saying, dude.
And then they've got the underworld and the overworld. So the underworld is the ground level, which is basic Hyrule.
I'm gonna go to the underground and hit it like a caveman.
And then the overworld are these floating islands that you can travel to. Oh, yeah, and then Link also has tattoos now. Just wanted to point that out. Link now has fucking tribal tattoos.
He's all grown up now.
Well, yeah. I mean, what do you expect the poor bastard to do? He had to his balls had to drop at some point, dude. You know what I mean?
So I'm really looking forward to seeing how.
Wow, this looks like Ghost of Tsushima, except for fucking Legend of Zelda. You know,
I'm really looking to see how the new game mechanics play out
too. Yeah.
You'll get. I will say there will be a brief overview of it, the podcast after the game comes out, because I did pre-order it, and I don't pre-order games anymore just because of like Jedi Survivor and what happened with that, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. I don't typically pre-order games.
I'm really looking forward to hearing this from you. Actually,
however, with Nintendo's probably one of the only companies I will still pre-order from, because they are dedicated to putting out full, complete games on launch.
And
there's not been a lot of flukes.
They're one of the last one of the last ones that are still doing it apparently, and that's freaking. And even to say that about Nintendo, which Nintendo does have a good reputation traditionally, but they have made some blunders in the past.
So,
that's
another.
Yeah, this is all new. This is all Tears of the Kingdom footage we have up to now.
I was gonna say too, like their blunders were never on the scale of like some of the other organizations that we really just name all too often on here. You know what I mean? So
that's another thing that that did come out this week. So several of the like game YouTubers that release content, talk about new games that are coming out before they come out, were invited to an event by Nintendo where they got to hands-on play the game. Now, they were limited on what they could talk about, what they could show when they released their videos. There was, a whole you could only release it after this certain point, certain stuff like that.
Right.
And one of the things that did come out was, so one of my biggest gripes in Breath of the Wild is,
look at that.
For instance, the arrows. So you've got different types of arrows. You've got standard arrows for your bow. You've got electric arrows, bomb arrows, fire arrows, ice arrows.
Right.
So in Breath of the Wild, you had to find those arrows already made. Well, in this game, you can take a standard arrow, which are the more common arrows, and combine them with certain materials to make bomb arrows or ice arrows and stuff like that on the go.
Right.
So there's like certain enemies that you can defeat.
And
if you defeat it.
Yeah. I apologize. I was going to say it encourages you to interact with the environment, basically.
Mm-hmm. So I'm really, really looking forward to this game.
Not gonna lie, it looks fun. I'm not gonna lie, that one looks kind of like.
Yeah.
I'll probably end up capturing some footage of my gameplay to share on a podcast.
Sure.
I'll probably actually that Saturday after it comes out, come in the office, capture some footage for that episode, so that way we have some.
You know how we roll here, man, dude. Like you do
the whole fucking gameplay, Squillini. That's
so, because I really, Zelda's one of my last favorite childhood franchises that's still standing. That's still a good franchise.
Right. There's not. Yeah, I was gonna say like there haven't been too many that they haven't like either remade or remastered or I don't know like what painted over with like a new funny haircut. Like I don't know. Like
so I mean, obviously, I grew up in the generation of Pokemon, so I own every Pokemon game that's come out on Switch so far, and I plan on buying every Pokemon game that comes out after the last one I purchased.
Yeah, I missed all that.
Well, you're also the oldest out of the three of us, Jay. So
I know.
So Pokemon and Zelda are my two like go-to. The whole reason I own a Switch is those two franchises. I love Mario, but I'm not as big on Mario as I am Zelda and Pokemon, because Zelda and Pokemon give me more. I have to think a lot more with those games than I do with Mario.
Get like more bang for your buck, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I can dig it. So I
mean, that's pretty much been my week. Citadel, playing through Breath of the Wild. I started this playthrough last Monday on my Twitch channel. And by the time yesterday evening before I went to bed was over, I was right at the final boss fight.
Oh, okay.
Now, again, once I finish the final boss fight, there's still a lot of extra content to go through. There's more side quests and stuff I can do, so I still have stuff to play. But with this playthrough, I went in, unlike the last three, I went in with I just need to make it through the final boss, defeat Ganon, the big bad guy of the game, of the Zelda franchise in general, and before the new one comes out. Didn't expect it to only take me a week.
Shit.
but here we are.
Just a short few days away.
Absolutely.
All right.
So,
I'm looking forward to hearing the review on that, because that actually, like, I'm not gonna lie, like the footage so far looks pretty clean, and it basically reminds me of like Ghost of Tsushima, except with Zelda. That's basically exactly what that looked like. So
I like that.
I mean, me too.
All right, Jay. What are you reviewing first, Covenant or the other one?
Let's like, God damn it, dude. Let's start with the Covenant. So we'll start with the Covenant. So yeah. So this week, me and my beautiful Nikki, we made it out one afternoon, and we actually watched Guy Ritchie's The Covenant in a theater, and trying to think kind of like how I want to put this. Like, this movie's not bad, okay, per se, but I really wanted them to do a lot more with it, and they kind of went kind of like a slightly oblong direction. And for anybody who's been there, it was kind of like, nah, bro, like that's not really how it works, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even though like Jake Gyllenhaal is supposed to, he's a Green Beret or whatever, and they're on a team or whatever.
He's starting to become a veteran in these military movies now. Like he might as well just be in the military at this point.
It's just one of those things where it's just kind of like, all right, like I wish you would have gone a different direction with this. You know what I mean? With the story. You know what I mean? And it started losing a lot of points with me, like as it kind of like kept moving forward. And then if so, like there's a couple of like, where there's scenes where, like, they're traveling from place to place, and it'll say like, like wherever, in Afghanistan they are, and like a couple of the places that they like flash on the screen I've been to. But in the time span of the movie, during the story of the movie, like, dude, there's like no way you're gonna get from like that place to another place like that that soon, right? And it started like, and I was like, God damn it, come on, like, come on, and like at that point, I kind of started being, I started, it started being like really start like removing myself from it. It was just like, all right,
yeah,
what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do now?
Kind of like, the Hurt Locker starting strong and then kind of just like drifting off into the wilderness.
Yeah, they spent. I'll tell you what I really wish they spent way too much time on the military part, when they probably should have made that more of like, the first 20 or 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then they should have gone like way over the top with like, making it like some type of a cathartic exercise to like get Homeboy and his family out, and it's fucking Guy Ritchie. So like, to the surprise of no one, dude, it just kind of became it's a fucking shoot 'em up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, if that's all right, I mean, cool, I guess. Not really, like, like not really too, like, yeah, like,
yeah.
I really wish they'd gone in a couple of different directions with it. Like, if anybody else is out there and like they enjoyed it or they liked it, more power to them. Like, I haven't really given too much away other than like the basic like plot line. So you were at your leisure to enjoy this movie like as you wish. I'm probably gonna give The Covenant, dude, we're talking like barely half-mast, fucking probably like about like five and a half.
You said half-mast.
Like barely at half-mast, dude. Like maybe like a 5 and a half, dude. Like we're not very, we're not, like we're not exactly sinking, but you're gonna have to work for it if you wanted to swim. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, dude, like, anywho.
That's crazy.
On a much higher note and a much more like positive note, I got to introduce one evening Nikki to a 1980s movie called fucking Lethal Weapon. All right. And like, when I say this was a fucking treat, because like I haven't seen this goddamn movie in so fucking long, dude. Like, this movie was such a treat to watch again. Like, Mel Gibson plays this just fucking psychoed out with PTSD fucking cop, right? All right. He gets into a fucking shootout in like the first scene of the fucking movie, wastes like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 dudes. All right, then they like throw him to Danny Glover, and like everywhere him and Danny Glover go, like more people die. You know what I'm saying? Like he's the fucking nom vet, okay? And like in the span of like 48 or like 72 hours in this movie, like 35 fucking people die, and like a couple of like fucking Green Berets get into a fucking fight with each other in the middle of a fucking California freeway. All right, this is like 1980s like at its fucking peak, ladies and gentlemen. Like
I love it.
Motherfuckers
Still
were
a great movie in my opinion.
His hair is flowing, man.
dude. This like how I want to know how much fucking cocaine you have to do to come up with the goddamn storyline of this fucking movie, dude. Because like this dude is like he's a nom vet, so he's already got like they're actually both nom vets, okay? And like
so they naturally have cocaine in their system.
So they're naturally fucked up in the head as it is.
And they're like, oh my god, dude, like this is like that movie is so over the top, but it's like so hilarious. And it's also, oh, by the way, you know, we always talk about how Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Lethal Weapon is a fucking Christmas movie. All right.
Mm-hmm.
It is set at the time of Christmas. There is Christmas songs contained within it. All right. So like for those of you kids who grew up like me in the 80s, all right, remember Lethal Weapon, give good old Mel and Danny Glover a rewatch one of these days. All right. And give him another rewind. I'm giving Lethal Weapon upon rewatch in 2023 a fucking rock solid, veiny, throbby, holy shitty, like fucking like 8.5. We're gonna fucking probably call it a 9. Okay, this is it. This one holds up, and it holds up because of how over the top and ridiculous it is, because of the chemistry between Danny Glover and Mel Gibson. Okay, this is one movie that, yes, it's completely ridiculous. So where the Covenant lost points, okay, watching that one in the theater this week, this is where Lethal Weapon did it right in the 80s, because they were one of the first ones, along with a few other movies in the 80s, to really do it. The buddy cop genre. It was not. Yeah. This was not the first buddy cop movie, okay, but they did it like so well. You know, it became its own fucking genre. You know what I mean? Like I'm getting too old for this shit, and yet there was fucking 3 movies after this one. You know what I mean? Like that's like they made it work. They made it work, and you can see why there ended up being like 3 fucking sequels. And I need to look up on the internet, dude, like what their fucking body count is, dude. Like, cause like Riggs and Murtaugh, dude, like basically waste like fucking like half of LA, dude, like every fucking movie. I mean, we're talking about like rolling shootouts with machine guns in the middle of a fucking California freeway. Okay, like rocket launchers and shit. Like this was peak 80s. Somebody was absolutely fried out of their mind on cocaine when they wrote that script. Okay, yep. but goddamn Mel Gibson and Danny Glover made it work. So fucking cheers to fucking goddamn Lethal Weapon. So now we have 3 more to watch freaking at some point here in the near future.
Yeah, I actually have to say too, because like, a lot of the retro movies are coming back, but like you remember the movie Cliffhanger?
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone.
Sylvester Stallone is coming back for Cliffhanger too.
Is he really?
Yes, he is.
Man, dude, like I'm wondering if his like regimen of like freaking like SARMs and like roids and shit, like if it's like keeping him young, dude. Because like how old is he now? He's right behind Arnold, right? He's like a couple of years younger than Arnold, I think. And it's like if he's still able to do some like fucking stuntman shit, like he must have been on like the best shit for like decades.
He's 76 years old.
So
what kind of fucking gear
body
is that
count
guy on?
Chuck Norris is 83.
Yeah, give me a body count for Lethal Weapon 1 for Riggs and Riggs and Murtaugh. Freaking fucking I want to know like how
so actually the most deaths in lethal in the Lethal Weapon series happened in 2, which was 34.
That's like a
in
fucking
one
had 26.
God.
Yeah. 1 was 26.
Dude.
3 was.
It says Lethal Weapon 2 comfortably outstrips its competitors.
Yeah. Dude,
Lethal Weapon 3 had 14, and then 4 had 23.
God damn, dude. I watched 3 and 4 in the movie theater.
I have kills for the characters. Which characters you want to know?
Fucking Riggs for fucking
17.
God. And what about Murtaugh?
4.
4? Yeah. So
And
fucking
Joshua Gary Busey is 2.
fuck it, dude. Like, dude, Riggs is like
prostitute by suicide,
like
negative
I don't.
1.
It's like the dude comes back from Nam, and it's like I don't know if you should be a cop, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you come back from
That's the era that caused severe psychological evaluations to happen before you
like,
could become
dude,
a law
like,
enforcement officer.
like you know,
Yeah.
he came back from the war, and the people around you kept
Do you fuck
dying,
with
dude.
the war?
What the fuck, man? Like maybe we should
Oh,
rethink
man.
our employment strategies. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
shit, man. No, but
anywho,
yeah, so we lost the legend this week.
yes, we did.
And
Yeah,
we're
this
talking
was
about,
like,
and the only reason why we're talking about him, not because he's a G, but because he's a veteran too.
yeah.
Jerry Springer.
Mainly because
Absolutely.
he's a G, though.
Yeah. He ran. His show ran in syndication from 1991 to 2018. Before that, he went to law school, was an Army Reserve serviceman, and for 1 year was named mayor of Cincinnati. If you want to know why he lost his office, you could read about that in the newspaper. We're not here going to taint the man's name here today, even though it's what pretty much probably led to his legacy of controversy being put out in the business, which is great.
Sure.
Because I'm a sucker for it. It's reality TV.
we used to watch it religiously. Like we were like looking forward to new shows, new episodes. You know what I mean?
We
Like,
all
There were
missed
days I would
school.
fake sick from school just so I could watch fucking Springer.
oh yeah, dude. Like it was. I mean, just absolutely because you knew which
10 o'clock every day.
Well, it was like you knew which episodes were gonna freaking like were gonna be like, this is gonna be a good one. Like something like shit is gonna go down, and they would let it happen up to a certain point. And
Yeah.
then you had like what's the big bald dude? Was that Steve, the security
Steve
guy?
Wilkos,
Yeah.
who
Steve
ended up
fucking
getting his
Wilkos,
own
dude.
show
Yeah.
off of it.
Yeah, dude, fucking Steve Wilkos, dude. Like that's what I'm saying, dude. Like that was like
Steve Wilkos is fucking raw too, by the way.
he's real. I mean, he's a real motherfucker, dude. Like, I mean, he's a big guy with a heart of gold, right? Like that's fucking.
Well, he was a cop at one point too. Steve was.
Yeah, and and that's one of those things where it was just they were early forerunners.
Steve Wilkos is also a Marine too.
Yeah, that's
so
like, well,
another little known fact. I'm not sure if any of y'all watched Hardcore Pawn on True TV.
Yes.
Or
I used to love that show.
Wait, what is it? What is it called?
Hardcore Pawn.
God,
it's about it's about a pawnbroker family in Detroit, Michigan. The Golds.
What channel is it on again?
It was on A&E back in the day. Well, a little known fact, Seth Gold, the son of Les Gold from Hardcore Pawn, used to be one of the security guards on Jerry Springer.
No shit.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
Wait a minute. Which Gold?
Seth,
the son? The little one?
Mm-hmm.
Are you serious? What up, God, bro?
Fucking Gonzalez. Really, Gonzo?
Dude, fucking Seth was like fucking 3 foot nothing, bro.
No, he's like 5'11", but he's like a fucking twig.
I don't know about you guys. I watch a lot of Hardcore Pawn too, dude. Like, I mean, I didn't know A&E had that shit, but if it, like it's all
fucking
good.
Skinamax, bro. Skinamax.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like,
while we're talking about our childhood TV habits,
yeah, like hiding.
For those of us that were lucky enough to have satellite TV back in the day, Skinamax was the shit.
hiding VHS tapes and shit. Like,
well,
yep.
Anywho,
I had to teach. I had to figure out how to make. I had to teach my parents how to use the VCR to record shit. So at night, before I'd go to bed, I would fucking set that shit to record Skinamax for me.
Good shit, man. Well played. Well played.
And then in the morning when I'd get up to get ready for school, I'd fucking pop that VHS tape and fucking shove that shit under the damn fucking under my mattress in my bedroom.
Right. Who's the new baby face?
I think it's all about you, Jay.
The new baby face. That's funny. That's hilarious. I'm new.
Yeah. So I mean, we lost him. I mean, he lived a good life. He lived a long life. So
Yeah,
You know,
Jerry,
all hail to the
Jerry.
veteran.
Jerry.
I mean, we're kind of gonna just we got a bunch of news, so we're just kind of gonna talk about it real
Yeah.
quick. 7 celebrities you probably thought received a dishonorable discharge but didn't. Number 1,
Okay.
Willie Nelson.
Okay.
He
Okay.
joined the Air Force after leaving high school in 1950, but he stayed in for only 9 months. He hoped to be a firefighter pilot, but was deemed to be too absent-minded as a trainee. He would have been a medic if not for his own medical issues.
Interesting.
I always knew he smoked because of glaucoma.
Yep.
Hey, man.
Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix.
Okay.
Jimi Hendrix has an honorable discharge.
Okay.
Steve McQueen.
Steve
the king
McQueen.
Of cool. The king. Of cool.
I'm going to say, like, it doesn't surprise me that Steve McQueen got out honorably. That doesn't surprise me.
But he has had an AWOL.
Yeah. But there was, man, it was so fucking different back in those days, man. It was, God,
He was in the brig for 41 days for that too, for going AWOL.
Well, see, he
ran away with his girlfriend.
He fucking clearly paid a price. You know what I mean? Like,
Ice-T.
Yep, Ice-T got out honorably. Yep.
Yeah, there's actually a story that Ice-T talks about that happened in Fort Benning. I think we talked about this early days of the podcast, and he talked about how in the Army, him and a couple guys went in and stole a commander's rug. Like they cut the rug up and they rolled it up and stole it from the company. And I have to find it. I'll send you a link, but it was a hilarious story. Next is Jerry Garcia. He's remembered for being one of Rolling Stone magazine's top 100 greatest guitarists of all time, experimenting with Jay's favorite, LSD, and founding the Grateful Dead.
Grateful Dead, man. Fucking A.
Yep. George Carlin.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, like that. I'll tell you what, I see a lot of like really bright, flaming, shining stars in on this list. And it's like the one thing they all have in common is like they were smart enough to know that like the fastest way out is always through. You know what I mean?
Yep. Do you know what his his job was in the Air Force?
Tell me.
He was a disc jockey.
Who was again?
So he's a radio host.
George Carlin. That makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. Hunter S. Thompson was in the Air Force too. Like that's freaking
and it's cool. It says it says that he was court-martialed 3 times during his military career, but got out in 1957.
Good for him.
And last but not least, the great Don Rickles. You know, he got out honorably.
Okay. All right.
So we also have in gaming news, we got 3 gaming titles. Then we have the retro game of the week. Gran Turismo trailer is coming out tomorrow. All we have is this little this little bit here.
Tell me about because you mentioned this a little bit when we were kind of coming together before we went live. Tell me kind of describe it to them how you described it to me, because the way you described it made it sound like I actually might like give a fuck about watching it.
Yeah. So for those who are, what up, Brandon? Yeah, we're doing the Monday night show tonight, man. I know you're not familiar with it, but Squilini, are you familiar with the Need for Speed movie that came out a couple years ago with Aaron Paul?
That movie was trash.
Thank you. So I mean, obviously we don't have a Forza movie or anything like that, but Gran Turismo thought it would be a good idea to tell the story of real life race car driver Jan Martinborough, a gamer who became a real life race car driver because of Gran Turismo, and we're going to be following the story of this person, this human being. It stars David Harbour and Orlando Bloom.
Wait, David Harbour, is that like the dude from is that Santa Claus and Violent Night?
The man from the Daddy. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, bro. And then Orlando Bloom.
Legolas.
Orlando Bloom.
Oh my God, he's so dreamy. Like,
Yeah.
Fucking Jay.
I'm
Take
sorry,
you
John.
nowhere.
I'm sorry, John. Go ahead.
No. It's okay.
No,
Like,
this
I'm
genuinely
actually,
sounds pretty
yeah.
cool to me. I'm not gonna lie.
So,
It
so
really
this
does.
one, so this racing movie is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be, assholes in space with sports cars, or
Right.
you know, drifting in an alleyway and then fighting the military 3 movies after. This is just
Right.
supposed to be a race car movie. Just a race car movie about a racer who likes to race, and that's it. Simple.
So we're not getting a new version of Fast and the Furious then?
No, we're
I
not.
was gonna say, like, I'm way more kind of just like Zelda, earlier when you were talking about Zelda, I am way fucking more inclined to watch a movie like this with an actual fucking story than like some kind of like hyper macho drink Modelo and talking about family with marbles in my mouth.
I can hear.
Which it's all good. I get.
But do they have family?
I get. God damn it, dude! Like, look, dude. Like, I know there's people out there that like still like Fast and Furious for some reason. Like, I was already so old at the time. Like, I never got into it in the first place. I was just like,
Yeah.
Oh, it's another freaking movie where a lot of dudes in tank tops should probably be putting on a t-shirt. It's probably. Have you ever been in California, like in the evenings? When the breeze is coming in off the ocean. It gets chilly out there, man. We don't need to be wearing sleeveless shirts. You know what I'm saying?
Why not?
I know it's all about family, Gonzalez. Like, I know.
All I've got to say is family.
Okay.
Family keeps you warm.
Okay. And I live my life a quarter mile at a time too. I got it. All right, fine. Like, yeah. Oh, God damn it, dude. So
it's about drive. It's about power. We stay home.
Wrong button.
So Gran Turismo. That looks fun. That looks fun.
Yeah, that actually it could be something.
Yeah. God damn it.
Next, we have the reveal for Jedi Survivor came out. I've been calling it Jedi Fallen Jedi for like the last 3 fucking weeks. I finally got the name right.
That's okay.
Now Fallen,
I think we have a comment in the comment section about it.
Jedi Survivor is out now. And my problem is not with the game. My problem, oh God. Someone's gonna start screaming out "Roll Tide" any second now. I'm waiting for it.
And Max, you actually fucked up there and said Alabama. You should have said West Virginia.
Hey, my kids were born there. You gotta be careful, dude. Like,
West Virginia. Well, yeah. Anyway,
born there, but the parents aren't from there, right?
So Jedi Survivor is out.
Makes a difference.
And like Max Mraz said, EA patched Jedi Survivor so you couldn't complete the campaign to prevent PC users from encountering a game-breaking bug. This is just a whole nother issue that there it is. He did it. He fucking did it.
Roll Tide. There it is.
This is just another notch on the belt for EA fucking us raw once again and saying here's the game, but it doesn't work on your PCs.
Do you guys think they're not going to fix it, or like what is your take on this? Like as what I would call like actual gamers, like compared to me being a casual. Like, what is your guys' actual take on this? Like, how bad is it?
So here's my take. Let's circle back to a couple games that have come out over the past couple months here. Hogwarts Legacy, lots of bugs. Within a couple weeks, they had everything patched. It was running great.
Okay.
Last of Us, the port over to PC by Sony.
Okay.
Same situation. Certain hardware it ran no problems. Certain hardware it fucking tanked. They patched it. It was fixed.
Okay.
Right now, I give it a couple weeks. I mean, the game literally just came out 3 days ago.
That's
almost 4 days at this point.
I know we have a community member. One of my buddies, Cardenas. He said he said his was fine, but I'm assuming he's a console player. Is this out on console as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm assuming that
So,
but I like that's yeah.
so
So
that's the big thing. A lot of the complaints and the issues with the game have been happening on PC,
Yeah.
okay,
not on console. Now,
And we take
so
pride in it because these things are supposed to work on
Work,
console.
right?
You know? I mean on
yeah.
PC.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the thing. You've got across all the different
We had
forums. You've got
bunch of comments
players.
from Max coming in.
Yeah, you've got players that have 100% top of the line everything. You know, best of the best CPU, best of the best GPU, and they're encountering issues. And then you got people that have equipment that's like 5-6 years old with no issues. So it's very
Interesting.
sporadic. It's
Interesting.
not. There's no 100%. If you have this hardware, it's going to fail. If you have this
Yeah.
hardware, it's going to work great. Because there's some people that are having issues with the same low end, old ass hardware as people with high end hardware, and vice versa. It's a extremely sporadic thing. And somebody with a software development background, me speaking from that point, for them to 100% pinpoint whatever the bugs are, it's going to take a little bit of time.
I'm
This
sure
is where I circle back with earlier when I was talking about Zelda and Nintendo, how I'll pre-order a fucking Zelda game in a heartbeat, but I'm not going to pre-order a PC game.
John, what was your experience playing it? I got to hear this, dude.
Dropped frame rates. I could hear everything clearly, but I can't. Everything. It's like It's like watching the Nickelodeon that's broken.
Goddamn.
You know, like that.
Right.
That I'm on PC.
That's disappointing.
And I mean, guys, Squillini built my PC. We know that this is like what I have is not some like, two laced, buckle my shoe bullshit. Like,
Right.
And we talked about this earlier that people with lower, graphics cards, they're working completely fine.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's kind of one of the things, like knowing 100% the ins and outs of one of the PCs that's having problems with this specific game. Seeing as I did build John's PC, all the parts were shipped to me directly. They were brand new in box. I broke the seals on each and every fucking box. The components that went into his computer were in. He didn't cheap out. I mean, this dude, for case, CPU, motherboard, cooler, hard drive, and RAM, spent less than he did on his fucking GPU for all the other main components combined.
And you yourself have a great PC as well, too.
He's got, Ryzen. It's a Ryzen 9 5900X. He's got a 3080 Ti. He's got 64 gigs of RAM. He's got a shit ton of fucking storage space. He didn't skimp on components, and he's having problems. But when I built mine, I didn't skimp on components. Now, but at the same time, I didn't pre-order.
I will say the story sounds great, though.
Well, I was gonna say, like, are you kind of holding on to this to like maybe like wait a couple weeks and see if they come out with a patch, and then maybe like
I'm gonna give it like a month. I'm gonna give it like a month.
Reattempt. Like me and Nikki just
2 months. 2 months is way better.
Me and Nikki just downloaded No Man's Sky, so I think we're gonna try that here in a little bit and just see kind of like where that goes. And then like, I've been replaying Red Dead Redemption. I finally got my PlayStation plugged in, so I've been kind of like, I'm playing Red Dead. That's about all I'm doing gaming. So
my next game, now that I just finished Red Dead, right before Starfield comes out, I think I'm about to jump into Cyberpunk finally. I think I'm gonna.
Now that all the patches and it's like fully functioning.
Again, that's another example of. I mean, that game kept getting delayed, and then it released with a whole bunch of fucking problems. It's the problem
it turns casuals like me completely against pretty much all of it, and it makes it so hard for me to like I want to give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like I really want to, and like these companies have just nosedived and tanked the whole industry to the point where it's like you expect games to be released broken. Like everybody's happy with like a finished product nowadays. It's like, how the fuck did that become like less than the standard? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Go
Well,
ahead.
see, and that's the thing. You've got, you know, Jay, for you, you've got me and John. Like, we're dedicated to testing this shit.
Sure.
And then you're a casual gamer. Like,
I just want to be immersed and like enjoy.
I play
games.
Yeah, I play games for fun and to relax. I mean, but at the same time, I also play games to entertain other people and provide some kind of content.
Sure.
And if a game that I'm anticipating is going to be a good game and I purchase it and it's crap out the gate, I'm annoyed.
Right.
But I'm also going to, being somebody that works in the IT field and has worked in software development, I'm going to give the developers a little bit of time. Am I upset that I paid $60 to beta test a fucking game? Hell yes.
Yeah, dude.
I'm extremely pissed the fuck off.
Yeah.
Because that's really what the gaming industry has got into. We buy new games that have gotten delayed, like Jedi Survivor. This one got delayed several times.
And it still wasn't done.
And it still came out incomplete or complete, but with a lot of issues. Right. So now at this point, I've paid $76 after tax is what a new video game costs nowadays to beta test a fucking game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when
it's funny too, because the first comment that I saw on Steam was, "I'm not your beta tester, EA."
Holy
Dude,
that was the first comment. If you go on Steam, that's
last year when me and John did the beta for Call of Duty. The beta ended up being better than the fucking game they released. You remember that shit?
Who's
it literally the beta was fucking better than the fucking game.
I mean, the beta was
that
was like, I think the beta for Call of Duty was right after my 4th or 5th episode with you guys.
Possibly, yeah. And it was like,
it was right there at the beginning of me stepping in and doing this with y'all.
And it wasn't anything special, but it wasn't the worst one either by far. But it was like, as soon as the actual game came out, like it took all the fun with it. And it was like, oh, well then, okay, I guess I'll just not play your game. Bye. See you later.
I just want to, because there's a lot of talk in chat about Cyberpunk because John mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to point out that game is constantly on sale in stores for $10 because it's still complete and utter fucking trash.
I believe
and the only reason it's sold.
Look, that it's either going to be that or I'm going to play Star Citizen because I need to feel something.
I'm telling you, go Star Citizen, fuck Cyberpunk, bro.
Dude, I'm looking forward to freaking Starfield now that like if we're gonna play
Starfield, man.
We're playing No Man's Sky, and you said Starfield is gonna be like an exaggerated version of that with even better shit, and it's on Game Pass. With a story, and it's on Game Pass. Is it multiplayer? Or is it only single?
It's only single.
Oh, okay.
But still. I don't know what I have. Yo, hit me up for Star Citizen. I have never tried it. Yo, it's a fucking investment. Apparently, you have to pay $40 for the ship.
Hey, somebody's mentioning hockey in here, dude. I gotta fucking send a hockey shout out, dude. Like, as a not even a casual fan of hockey, as somebody that kind of grew up very removed from hockey. What the actual fuck is going on in the hockey playoffs, dude? Like, all the fucking Giants this year have like fallen in the fucking like first round, dude. Like, who the fuck is actually
all I
want
to say is that I wish Kyle Palmieri was still in the Devils right now because that car, that SUV he gave me right outside that's sitting in my parking lot.
Oh yeah,
that thing is still there. You know, because if you look back, my life since that day, my life changed.
That's
right after that, I started doing the DD214 Gaming podcast. I started getting into more things. So if it wasn't for Kyle Palmieri, man,
watershed moments don't always have to be bad, guys. You know what I mean? Like sometimes a watershed moment is a good one. You know what I mean?
And fuck the Bruins, fuck Boston. They smell like shit.
God. Of course, you're gonna throw that shit in, dude.
Now, real quick, our last gaming news before we get into retro game of the week, and this will give you a nice 6-minute break to drink some water,
go get some more coffee.
Yeah. So On Reddit, a user named Elvite shared that they had won a lifetime Xbox game subscription through a sweepstake with Microsoft Awards. Fantastic. Congratulations.
Absolutely.
After initially accepting the prize, they began to fill out paperwork and realized that the lifetime Game Pass membership would be costing them substantially.
What do you mean?
He says, I read that I would have $7,300 of added taxable income to my 2023 taxes as a result if I claim the prize. The user explained of this process involved after the win. Per U.S. tax law, that will likely increase my 2023 federal tax bill by 1752, 24% of the prize value, right? Also, I would have added state income tax, but let's not bother figuring that in. This makes the prize not really a benefit to me until almost 10 years have passed, which is how many years of Game Pass I could buy right now if I spent around $1,752. Needless to say, I declined the offer.
I would too. Like anything that's gonna fuck me on the taxes, dude, is like you can absolutely get the hell out of Dodge, dude. Like I'm not even fucking with that shit, dude. Like,
Well,
here
one thing that you know, and this is not a statement against anybody else or how anybody else lives their life. One thing I've always prided myself on is that I've always maintained a very, very low level of debt, and so like accepting a prize like that, you're now going to be like fucking me on my goddamn like W-2s, dude, every year is like I can't fuck with that. You know what I mean? Like that's it basically becomes debt. You know what I mean? And like I'm not adding debt to like play. Like he said, I can just fucking purchase the motherfucking Game Pass, dude, and just do it the right way. You know what I mean? It's way cheaper.
That's that.
And it doesn't go on my W-2. So.
Yep. And now when we come back, we're going to do Retro Game of the Week with Gonzo. And then we're going to finish off with military news and our final thought and all that stuff. Let me make sure I get this right. It's a big file, Gonzo.
And to kind of leave on the
no, because
to leave on the prize stuff real quick. This is just a lesson, everybody.
Melon.
If you win anything that totals more than $600, that is considered taxable income under the IRS.
This is true. As far as like last time I checked, that's it. The threshold is actually very low. It's very, very low.
It's 600 exactly. I've had to look into it because of content.
Interesting. That's free. Oh, there you go. Yeah. If you monetize your fucking content, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
All
Makes
right.
sense.
And now today's Retro Game of the Week. You guys, the microphones are still going to be on, so make sure you mute yourselves.
Hell yeah. That's like high school. What's going on, guys? You already know what time it is. It's time for that Retro Game of the Week. And if you think you got next, I even supply the quarter for you. What's going on, Gonzo Gamers? Welcome to today's edition of your Retro Game of the Week. If you thought I went way back last week, I'm going to go even further this week. So this week's game is none other than Frogger. I'm pretty sure my OGs out there remember this one. Definitely a classic, definitely a super throwback. Nothing hype, or maybe it's hype because it's retro. But like you compare it to what's out there now, obviously it just doesn't compare as far as like graphic gameplay and all that stuff like that. But back in the day when it dropped for the Atari, it was probably the biggest thing out there, remember it coming out on the arcade first, at least from what I looked up. It was dropped in the arcade and then on home console. And really, it's nothing to it. You're a frog trying to get to the other side, kind of like a why did the chicken cross the road kind of thing. Basically, the frog trying to get across a highway, across, I guess, a pond or a riverbank to where its destination was, either on a lily pad or on the other side of the screen. As always, provide, No picture in picture here. Yeah, that's a water cooler back there. It's really not. It's not in use right now. It's just for decor. But when I get everything going here, they're definitely being used because summers here where I live at in Texas is not the greatest, especially in this garage that I don't have the greatest circulation of air. I have some, not most. There's no vents in here. There's no central air in here. So either I buy something and use the water cooler to cool my ass down. Anyway, really, as you see from the picture in picture, it's just the frog going from the bottom to the top of the screen, dodging cars, trucks, whatever traffic is there. Then when it gets to the part where it has to go from land to water, you're getting on lily pads or leaves or whatever it is, logs. You have to dodge. I guess there's a crocodile that comes across the screen. I realized that when I was playing. And then you get towards the end, but it's just all about strategic timing, moving like I said, this is all I had. This is really all I had. It was a joystick, and so you press a button and you move around up, down, left, right. Really nothing much to it, at least for the Atari goes when it came to Frogger. There were other games that did use other joysticks, like you had for racing. I guess you turn the knob and it curves left and right. I guess the trigger is for the gas. I haven't played a racing game on my Atari yet. I do own one, but I just haven't given it a try yet. And then you had sports games that I believe use this. It says paddle, I guess, for tennis, and it's the same thing. I guess you swung with the clicks and moved, or swung with this, and I really don't know, but there was just two buttons on each of the thing, not even one button and something to move a joystick, one button for my OGs. I don't know how you did it, but it was done, and at that time it was the greatest thing on earth. So I'm not knocking it, because as you saw the last episode, ColecoVision, number pad, and what you call a joystick, but the joystick was like circular like this, not like this. But that's really kind of what it was. Frogger said it was a hit in the arcades. So much of a hit, I guess, with the OGs that if you ever watched Seinfeld, there's an episode where the character George Costanza has like the top score in Frogger because like he's the man on it. And if the arcade, I believe, was pulled out or shut off or something, his high score was going to be obsolete. And he's trying to save his high score somehow, some way throughout the entire episode to the point where he gets in a scenario where he's real life Frogger with the machine, and they give an overhead view of him trying to go across, I guess, a busy main street in New York, and he's like bopping and weaving through traffic to the untimely scenario where a truck hits the arcade and like just explodes, and well, failed mission. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Frogger. It's just point A to point B with a bunch of obstacles in the middle. And I said nothing crazy lackluster. Again, like the Smurfs, it wasn't nothing wild, but for the timeline that it was the greatest thing on earth. All right, guys, as always, like, not like, middle finger, criticize, curse out, say what you want in the comments. I don't care. I told you, I shoot this like it's live, like I'm talking to a live studio audience with the applause and the cheers and the boos and everything else. One take and it's over. But feel free to subscribe, Gonzo Gone Gaming on YouTube, also DD214 Gaming on YouTube. Check out their page on Facebook. Check out my group on Facebook, Gaming. And that's it for this week. But as you saw in the intro, if you guys still want the smoke, where the hell is it? Got that quarter for you if you want the smoke of Marvel's Capcom. My machine doesn't take quarters, but I do. So bring your money. Chumps.
Oh, okay. So first off, as soon as I saw Frogger, I was just like, Seinfeld. Do you know the scene that he's referring to?
In Seinfeld, and he had like a Frogger machine, and there was like an overhead.
I have to pull it up because I love it's one of my favorite scenes in Seinfeld of all time.
It always comes back to Seinfeld, doesn't it? Like Seinfeld did it 1st, almost like The Simpsons, right?
No,
boy, I'll tell you what, being a teenager in the 90s was pretty fucking cool, dude. Let me tell you guys.
Oh, it was. And Seinfeld definitely portrayed that. Here we go. The Frogger scene, Seinfeld.
I was say, turn it down. You're gonna get.
What are you guys doing? Eat the fly. Eat the fly. Got it. You idiots! You're gonna wear down the battery.
Well, the batteries are fine. We've got
with the great Peter Stormare.
Only 3 minutes left.
All right, quick, get this thing back in the pizzeria. George, they closed up. I need an outlet.
A what?
Hose! I need hose! The pharmacy's still open. All right, Kramer, you block off traffic. You two, go sweet talk the pharmacist.
You owe me a quarter.
Slippery Pete. Kramer, hurry up!
I'm out! No tape left! Well, come on, George, I'll help you push it across.
Wait a minute. This looks familiar. This reminds me of something. I can do this.
By yourself?
Jerry, I've been preparing for this moment my entire life.
Looks like a frog. So do you.
One of the greatest scenes in Seinfeld I've ever seen.
That is absolutely hilarious. That's absolutely hilarious.
What a great choice too, because Frogger, we played different versions of Frogger, Nintendo, on mobile. And what's actually super funny is that he said this is an Easter egg episode. I already know what the Easter egg is because May the 4th is this week, and he was sitting in front of Star Wars memorabilia. I caught that was the first thing I noticed too. May the 4th is this week, guys. It is Star Wars week, so get ready to spend your fucking money on Star Wars shit for Mother's Day, baby.
Live long and wait, wrong franchise.
Yeah,
it's
right. Okay. I also did. I was actually in the theater twice this week. We saw a special showing of Return of the Jedi.
Yes, 40th anniversary.
We did. We saw that. So like we did it. We did.
Were people excited?
I would say it was pretty close to a full house. It wasn't like, I would say it wasn't like overly celebratory. It was more subdued, but I also, they showed
it was a full house of people like me and you, John.
They showed the Return of Jedi where they added a few things, which some things they added were kind of okay. And then some of the other stuff, like I'm a child of the 80s. So like my brain still doesn't really comprehend. Like I know exactly where they added stuff. Cause like, I'm like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? Like, and then it's like, yeah,
I hate the digital remastered version.
I like the explosions of the Death Star. The Death Star's better. I do think that was 100% an improvement. Like but some of the added scenes and like they just kind of fall flat like a hockey puck. You know what I mean? Like the whole cantina scene with Jabba the Hutt and the it turned into like a song and dance routine. It was like, bro, like. We've seen this movie 10,000 times, dude. Like, come on. Did we have to do that? Like, come on.
My least favorite was at the end of episode 6, The Force Ghosts, where they added Hayden Christensen as the Force Ghost for Anakin.
That's the same one we watched. Like that was
that's the final edit. They're done with that.
It was Hayden Christensen at the end. I was just kind of like, I guess so. Roger that. But overall, never a bad day if you're seeing Star Wars in the theater. You know what I mean? Never a bad day.
Never.
Mhm.
And actually, and just to go back real quick, Gonzo, that was a really good retro game of the week. I really
Absolutely.
good job.
Absolutely.
Frogger
Absolutely
is
enjoyed that. It was a
wait,
lot of fun.
why didn't Jedi Survivor come out on the 4th? Missed opportunity. Dude, we don't fucking know. We don't question the burdens of stupid rich people here on DD214 Gaming. We just
Because EA.
I don't think there's anything major coming out on May 4th either, right? It's just a bunch of coats, a bunch of jackets from Columbia. You know, the Columbia jackets, the winter jackets
No.
with the fucking fur lining and shit. See,
No.
Squillini knows. He knows what jackets I'm talking about, and he knows damn well me and him are never gonna have the money to buy it either. Just like Mario should have came out March 10th. I agree.
Yeah, see?
I agree, but that's that's above our pay grade.
It really is.
So we were laughing, but now we're not going to laugh anymore, guys. We got some bad news.
Yeah.
So to start off, Marine has been killed in the Ukraine war. A Marine veteran was killed last week in eastern Ukrainian city, where the country's military has been locked for months in intense fighting with Russian forces. Cooper Harris Andrews, 26, was killed in Bakhmut, where he was ambushed by Russian forces while defending evacuees. Journalist Jake Hanrahan tweeted on Sunday that Andrews was killed alongside other fighters and was a member of Popular Front, a grassroots conflict journalism platform. This is an American lost on foreign soil, fighting the good fight for, for people that don't even know his name. He knew, we've been seeing a lot of this, you know what you're signing up for, you know what the fight is, and those who are willing to go over there and do the fight, Godspeed, but not all of them, unfortunately, not all of them are going to make it back home. And this is just the realities of what war is.
And that's it is unfortunate, but his name is like going to forever be remembered, and he is going to be forever on the right side of history. We're like we're kind of watching like the real time collapse of what was supposedly the number 2 force in the world.
Yeah.
And watching it fail this catastrophically. It's really been a godsend, because everybody was like holding their breath last year while we were kind of like joking about it on this podcast. But the reality is it is still happening. You know what I mean? We are over a year.
A long time now.
Yeah, we are over a year into this conflict. Like, yes, Ukraine is winning. Yes, Russia's military is folding like fucking napkins on the battlefield. But that doesn't mean the fight is over. Like, it is not going to be over until they have pushed them completely fucking out. That includes
all the way to the end.
That includes the Donbas. That includes fucking Crimea. Like, that includes the destruction of the Crimean Bridge.
And they don't even want to take over. They just want their shit back. That's it.
That's it. They just want to be free in their own fucking land. That is literally it. And like you talk about a unilateral, unprovoked invasion, right? Like that's, we'll just, we're very passionate about it in this house, and it is always a tragedy to lose one of our own, but we say Slava Ukraini and Heroyam Slava, which means glory to the heroes, and obviously glory to Ukraine. You know what I mean? Like
glory to Cooper Harris Andrews.
Absolutely. Rest in fucking power, dude. Rest in fucking power, dude.
I mean, the story here is that he was killed alongside other fighters while defending evacuees.
Yeah.
If that's not, one of the most hero fucking things to fucking do, you know what I mean? Like, to go down swinging like that. In other news, a U.S. Army helicopter crashed in the mountains during fair weather in Fairbanks, Alaska. This is kind of hard to talk about. 2 U.S. Army helicopters crashed last week in Alaska, killing 3 soldiers. Those 3 soldiers, whose names here are Warrant Officer 3, Christopher Robert Aramo, 39, Chief Warrant Officer 2, Kyle McKenna, 28, and Warrant Officer 1, Stuart Dwayne Wayman, 32.
Yeah.
Two AH-64 Apache helicopters were returning to Fort Wainwright from an aerial gunnery range southeast of Fairbanks when they collided. A fourth soldier survived and remains hospitalized. A spokesperson for the U.S. Army Alaska has said investigators plan to fly on Monday morning on the accident scene about 50 miles east of the small town of Healy. The Army Ground Aviation units on Friday conduct further training following the recent deadly accidents. Two Black Hawk helicopters crashed last month in Kentucky as well during a routine nighttime training exercise that killed 9 soldiers. And in February, a Tennessee National Guard Black Hawk crashed in Alabama during a flight training mission, killing 2 crew members. Also in February, 2 soldiers were injured when an Apache helicopter rolled after taking off from Talkeetna, Alaska. There is a lot of, there's a lot of stuff going on in aviation right now.
Well, the fleet, the Army has grounded the entire air fleet, and that occurred like last week at some point, and they're probably conducting some top to bottom, left to rights, like Army wide. Every installation has probably got a lot of people like up their ass right now trying to figure out like, and I don't like bad mouthing, or that kind of manner of speech as far as like here on the podcast. I will say a lot of times when these kind of things kind of occur back to back, it eventually usually comes down to op tempo and the work life cycle of the soldiers involved. You know what I mean? Whether it's the pilots, the crew members, maintenance on the ground. You know what I mean? Like just all of it involved. Everything from top to bottom, from the people flying the machines to the people that like are turning the wrenches. You know what I mean? Like there's usually some, the linchpin usually comes down to op tempo. And I hate to like kind of like put it just like that, but from my experience in the Army, when shit started getting like really fucked up like over and over again, and like just silly mistakes kept on happening, like for what would seemingly be no reason or kind of hard to pinpoint, it usually came down to op tempo when just people are just fucking exhausted. You know what I mean? And like when mistakes unfortunately happen, sometimes when people are exhausted, like it can come at a heavy cost. You know Absolutely. What I mean? And it's very unfortunate when this stuff happened. Training deaths hurt almost, I think, more than deaths on the battlefield in a way. You know what I mean? Because
Absolutely.
It's rough, dude. It's rough dealing with deaths during training. You know what I mean? Like that's, yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, and I mean, this is big somber news. Rest in peace to the warrant officers whose lives were taken from us this week. The U.S. Army always prevails. We always go through investigations. Will conclude what happened. It's kind of interesting. One major thing that I keep thinking about is wind.
And that could be too. And that could be too. It might be something as simple as like the Alaskan freaking like tundra. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I have no idea. Like
just a push. All it takes is just a little push. And
I don't fly helicopters, and I have no idea like what it takes to keep those things freaking, from like crashing themselves. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to sit here and like Monday morning quarterback anything either. You know what I mean? So you're absolutely right.
For real. And while we're on that note, we're here at the end. We're doing the final thought. I just want to say we're just gonna, we're gonna keep it simple. We're gonna keep it fresh, guys. You're not alone. We're here. It's late at night. You actually got a different flavor than we got today. But sometimes you may feel like you're seasoned with a different type of spice that day, and that spice may not be compatible with how you're feeling today. So you get these clouds, you start feeling down, you don't know who to talk to. Well, there's resources that you have. You have the National Suicide Hotline, which is *988 or 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-TALK. You guys have to understand that, not only are we losing soldiers in different ways, accidents, but we are losing soldiers and we are losing civilians, our brothers and our sisters, our mothers and fathers and our daughters, our sons. the number's way too high, and we can only, we can only do so much, but we can never stop trying. That makes sense. Just don't stop trying. If maybe your worst enemy that day might be your best friend. Pick up your phone. If you bump into somebody, if maybe they're having a bad day too, talk about it. Have a drink of water. Go outside. It's nice out. It's nice out. It's 10 o'clock p.m. I might even take a walk out with my wife tonight because I didn't have a good day. You know what I mean?
There you go.
And if you're not having a good day, try your best to make the best of it. All right,
There it is.
guys. We love you. It's 100. We'll see you. Well, and actually, in less than 168, we're gonna see you guys on Sunday. This was a very impromptu. This was actually very fun. Take some ibuprofen and change your socks. I might actually have to change my socks.
And I got to say, like, kind of to your point, and kind of like just as kind of like a follow up to the final thought, like we took a knee this week on Sunday, and that really, like, it wasn't anybody's fault. It just, like, schedules didn't line up. There was stuff that we all three of us really had to do, and it just didn't line up. It didn't happen on Sunday. We said, fuck it. We're not going to worry about it. We'll deal with it either tomorrow or sometime in the week.
We said Wednesday at first.
Yeah, it just so happens we were able to make it happen tonight and go live on Monday Monday night in prime time, instead of fucking Sunday morning. So I mean, there's nothing wrong with the football schedule. You know what I mean?
I mean, we literally said yesterday it came down to, well, let's hold off right now. We all had a lot going on.
Yep.
And then we said, if we do a episode this week, we get to it. If we don't, we'll just do our normal Sunday episode, and here we are. So,
and then all of a sudden, so we're meeting at 7, right?
Yeah, and we just roll with it. We like you said, we took a knee, we drank some water, like we didn't cry about it.
Show.
And now we're still right on fucking schedule. We still got a fucking episode in for the week, so there it is.
And like I said, for some of us, the night is just starting. For others, the night is just ending.
I'm taking my old ass to bed.
I'll be right behind you, probably. So, guys, have a fucking good week, dude. We'll see you soon.
Yep. See everybody in 144.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh shit, he did the math.
Look at this motherfucker, all smart and shit.